Hi everyone, welcome to this video. So it's mostly going to be talking about how Rufina Pita is urging the government to halt the Connect PNG program in Southern Region. She is the central governor, and recently there have been murders in Barony, a murder in Barony that has raised this issue. So Central Governor Rufina Pita has called on the government to immediately stop the Connect PNG program as people from the southern region are at risk from domestic security threats. I am issuing an urgent call to the Prime Minister James Marape, the NEC, and all members of Parliament to immediately suspend the Connect PNG program for the next 50 years until proper border security mechanisms are put in place to protect the Papuan region from escalating security threats, she said in it yesterday. The unregulated expansion of roads linking Papua New Guinea to the highlands and other regions is now the greatest internal security threat to Gulf, Central, Port Moresby, and NCD. Without proper security measures, these road networks are fast-tracking lawlessness, illegal migration, and land grabs, placing enormous strain on provincial law enforcement, public services, and local communities. Very true. Public services like health, education, etc. She said the following were immediate security measures needed to be implemented. Point 1. Establishment of manned border security posts between Gulf and Southern Highlands to monitor and control movement. Papuan reservists from Central and Gulf to be deployed to enforce strict security, immigration, and customs control. Point 2. Immediate halt to the Connect PNG expansion into Papua. The Connect PNG program must be frozen until a full security risk assessment is conducted. No further road construction to Central, Gulf, and Port Moresby. Point 3. Stronger immigration and law enforcement controls. Compulsory registration and vetting of all non-Papuan migrants entering Central and Gulf. Strict enforcement of illegal settlement removal to prevent uncontrolled land grabbing. And point number 4. Formation of Security Task Force and Joint Enforcement. Papuan Security Task Force to be formed comprising Central, Gulf, and NCD security units to monitor threats, joint police military operations to dismantle criminal networks infiltrating the region. So yeah, this is a serious issue which concerns all Papua New Guineans because it's now a national security issue. It threatens our national security. So yeah, I did a bit of reading on this topic myself, and I asked myself, in a city like Port Moresby, because I live here and my life revolves around my security and safety in the city in order to make my money. So I just figured out talk about Port Moresby. So in a city like Port Moresby, what are the disadvantages of having a direct highway linking the Highlands region to Central Province? Given the current economic, social, and political climate of PNG, how is Connect PNG a bad plan for the citizens of Port Moresby and Central Province? So basically, the idea of a direct highway linking the Highlands region to Central Province in PNG, such as through Connect PNG initiative, may seem beneficial for economic development and connectivity. However, given the current economic, social, and political climate of PNG, there are several potential disadvantages for cities like Port Moresby, Central Province, and Gulf Province. So first disadvantage, increased urban overcrowding and strain on resources. So one point under this is rural-urban migration. A direct highway could accelerate rural to urban migration as people from the highlands move to Port Moresby and Central Province in search for better opportunities. This would exacerbate or make worse overcrowding in Port Moresby, which is already a struggle with inadequate housing, sanitation, and public services. Another point is pressure on infrastructure. So the city's infrastructure, including roads, schools, hospitals, and utilities, is already under strain An influx of people could overwhelm these systems, leading to further deterioration in living conditions. Second disadvantage is social tensions and crime. So, firstly, there'll be cultural clashes. The potential is there. PNG is highly diverse with over 800 languages and distinct cultural groups. Increased interaction between highlands communities and those in the coastal groups could lead to cultural misunderstandings, conflicts. Secondly, there could be a rise in crime, but Mosby already faces significant challenges with crime, law enforcement, and an influx of people, particularly those struggling to find employment, could lead to an increase in theft, violence, and other criminal activities. The third disadvantage is economic disparities and inequality. Uneven development while uneven development. While the highway may benefit some businesses and individuals, it could also widen the gap between the wealthy and the poor. Those with areas access to resources and capital may profit, while marginalized groups could be left behind. Another potential economic disparity is exploitation of resources. This highway could facilitate the extraction of natural resources from the highlands, but economic benefits may not trickle down to the local communities, leading to resentment and inequality. The fourth disadvantage is environmental degradation. So, deforestation and land degradation. The construction and use of the highway could lead to deforestation, habitat destruction, and soil erosion, particularly in ecologic sensitive areas along this highway. Pollution is another problem. Increased traffic and industrial activity along the highway could result in air and water pollution, negatively impacting the health and livelihoods of any of the local surrounding communities. Okay, the fifth disadvantage is political and governance challenges. So, corruption and mismanagement. PNG has a history of corruption and mismanagement of large infrastructure projects. There is a risk that the funds for the highway could be misappropriated, leading to substandard or poor construction and maintenance. Land disputes. The highway could exacerbate or make worse existing land disputes between clans and communities, particularly areas where land ownership is contested and unclear. Point number 6, impact on local economies. So, firstly, there's like disruption of traditional livelihoods. The highway could disrupt traditional subsistence practices in rural areas as people shift focus to cash crops or waged labor. And then there's dependency on imports. Improved connectivity could lead to an influx of cheaper imported goods, undermining local industries and businesses in Central Province, Gulf, and Port Moresby. And the seventh disadvantage are security concerns. Firstly, there's tribal conflicts. The Highlands region is known for tribal conflicts and violence. A direct highway could facilitate the movement of weapons, exacerbate these conflicts, potential spreading of violence to Central Province, Pom, and Gulf. Also, another security concern is human trafficking and illegal activities. Improved connectivity could also make it easier for human traffickers and other drug smugglers and other criminals to operate across this region. So yeah. Well, the Connect PNG initiative aims to improve connectivity and economic developments. The potential disadvantage for Port Moresby, Central Province, and Gulf cannot be ignored. The project could lead to overcrowding, social tensions, environmental degradation, and economic inequality if not carefully planned and managed. Addressing the challenges would require steady governance, community engagement, and sustainable development practices to ensure that the benefits of the highway are equally distributed and don't come at the expense of the most vulnerable populations. I mean, it's really, really obvious. There's not much to be said. Huh? The highway will bring down all these people, and the city has limited resources, very strained resources. We are barely making it work with the current population. So I don't know um, how the outlook. It's like it only benefits the movement of businesses, the mining townships, moving container trucks, movement of products, goods. But human beings and people will also be moving, and they bring with them their own mindsets and ideologies and cultural beliefs and practices. And that's why what Governor Rufina said is very good. If you set up like a system in place post the construction of this Connect PNG highway connecting Southern Highlands, Gulf, Central Province, and fix the security issues, create a way in which we can filter out the people that come into the city, and after people are filtered and security measures are put in place, you can resume the construction and make sure only the right types of people get into the city, and make sure there's like a long-term plan to make sure the transition is working well for everyone. Yeah, that's all.